Hello there and welcome to Vermin Hunters TV with me, Si Pitway. It's been about 4 or 5 weeks, maybe a bit longer since we put any new footage up, and this episode is going to be something different. About 4 or 5 weeks ago I started a new hobby, and obviously because I'm new at it, I'm no expert, but it's a bit of knife making. And knife making goes in hand with hunting and shooting, because we all use knives to gut and skin the quarry that we shoot. And what I'll be doing today is making a small hunting knife, and it'll be made out of this steel here, which is 01 tool steel. The reason I'm using this, it's easy to work with, it's easy to forge and heat treat and quench, and it hardens really nice, making a tough, durable knife, and it holds its edge really well. So this is the type of steel I'll be using. It'll be a little bit smaller bit, not this one. This is actually a new blank, 50 centimeters long, but it's somewhat left over from a previous knife. Now I've only made probably about 6-7 knives in total in my whole life, so I am no expert, but I'm learning as I go along. But some people have asked, after me posting a few pictures of the knives I've made on the Facebook group, if I could put a little video up, so here it is. So first thing we need to do then is need to trace basically the blade. So I'm going to use a Sharpie, black Sharpie Permy, and just trace the blade. And these have obviously, like I said, done on the computer, and then they're put on card, so it makes it easier to trace. There, off camera I've tidied it up a little bit, got rid of the rest of the handle, and you can see now the tang, which is going to be hidden in the actual hardwood handle, I've brought it down to a bit, it gets narrower as it goes down, and the reason I do that is because when I fit it into the handle, what I make later on, as you're pushing it down, it gets tighter. There you can see the shape, rough shape starting to appear, and it doesn't have to be too good at the minute. This is just cutting the rough shape. We'll smarten it up and smoothen it up, make it look a lot better on the sander in a little while. Right, you can see I've got a basic outline now of the blade. So here's going to be the hidden tang, and here's going to be the blade itself. So now I need to get it on the grinder now and smooth it out a little bit and start to shape it a little bit better. Every so often you have to dip it in some water, which I've got down on the floor because it gets hot obviously with the friction, but you can see it's starting to shape now. I'm going to put it on the other grinder now to get a better shape. You can see, it's nice and smooth. Starting to take shape nicely now, you see. That's why you don't have to be too precise when you're doing the rough cut with the angle grinder. See, I've scratched a line there with a marking tool into the 01 steel. I'm going to try and file this now flat along that line. There, it's almost level now, you can see. See, it starts to shine straight away. Right, I've got it to a stage now where I'm happy and it can be heat treated in the forge and quenched. Right, we're at that stage now where I need to heat treat the blade to harden it and then quench it in oil, but warm oil works better than cold oil, so I'm going to put an old drill bit in first, heat it red and then put it in the oil to warm the oil up. This is the old drill bit I'm going to put in. You see, I've used it before. So how do you know when the metal's hot enough then to quench? Well, you use a magnet, and when you heat up metal, when it gets to a certain temperature, it loses its magnetism. So what I usually do is get to that point and then just a little tiny bit more and then quench it in the oil, which then as it's getting hot the molecules change, and then as soon as you put it in the warm oil it cools down really quick, which is what hardens it. Right, you can probably hear in the background the forge is heating up and the drill bit's still heating up. At this point, got a nice bit of hardwood here. It's either English oak or teak, I'm not sure. But I've got same again, a template here, an handle, what fits my hand. And I'm going to draw around the handle first so I know what shape I need. There, that's the shape. What I might do with this knife is, I've got a piece of brass here, make a nice little brass thumb guard. Oil will be nice and hot now. blade in. Right, it's not far off being hot enough now. Just test it. There we go. No, not magnetic now, so I'll just give it a little bit more. Show you up. The whole blade is non-magnetic. And then quenched in the oil. You can see it's not ignited. Just move it backwards and forwards. I've been advised not to move it left and right because that can cause it to warp. So backwards and forwards. And when it comes out, it will look black. It'll have a dark stain on it, and that's where obviously the heat and the oil's mixed, like so. Right, once you've quenched it and heat treated it, like you've just watched me do, one of the tests, you can see it's gone black as I said, one of the tests is to get a metal file and rub it against it, like that, and what you can see is the file is just gliding off it because it's too hard. It's not having any effect on it whatsoever. You could even go down the what you see I've sharpened, and it just has no effect on it. So that's now hard, but it's too hard. So I'm gonna basically get rid of this black by grinding it off with a finer grinder, and then it will need tempering. And tempering, we'll put it in the oven for an hour at round about 210 degrees, which is just over 400 degrees Fahrenheit, until it goes light straw colour. Right, get this black off. There, I've got the black off now, as you can see, and that's ready for tempering now. Yesterday my mate Tom Croft asked me how I managed to get these sharp, so you can see how I've done it now, Tom. I've ground it down, and it's not even been on the Lansky sharpener yet, but and not even been tempered. But as you can see already, when you use a really fine belt, and what I find is when I use a really fine belt on my grinder and it wears out, I keep that to one side, and that's the final sharpener, apart from I use the buffing machine. But as you can see, even now, before it's even sharpened, it's like a razor. That's sharp enough to take the air off your arm. You can see it's starting to get there now and shape up. This is the trickier part. There, you can see it's been roughly cut now, and now I can get a wood rasp on this now and start to round it and shape it better. Now it's just a case of using the wood rasp, and if you've got a good wood rasp like this one, you can take quite a lot of the wood off, even this hardwood, quite quickly. Nearly there now, roughly shaped again. Take a bit off the edges now. something like that. Obviously the slit where the tang goes through will be there. This is another thing you can roughly cut, because once you get it on the belt sander, with it only being brass, even though it's about 5 or 6 mil thick, it wears down really easily. I'm going to cut some slots now to before I start filing.
From Elvis Presley in the ghetto here. It's the Great American Songbook, a slightly different format this evening, a special Sunday evening, if you will.
There, you can see I've drilled 3 holes. Now I'm just going to cut through there, then I can use my file then. Right, what I've done now is the blade's been in the oven at 210 degrees centigrade for an hour, and I don't know if the camera and the light in my kitchen is showing this correctly, but that's a light straw colour, and that's the colour you try and get or achieve. So I know that's tempered nicely. So that'll be a really tough knife, but it not be so tough or hard that it's brittle and break. So it should hold its edge really well. Right, while the knife was in the oven tempering, you can see now, using this little file here, I've been filing away, and I've made the slot rectangular, and hopefully the tang will be fitting it in there. If it don't, I'll titivate it a little bit more until it does. See, I just need to titivate it a little bit now. There, just give it a bit of a polish. There, it's on nice and tight now. There, that's the handle. Now I'm just using some 400 grit abrasive paper, the wet and dry stuff, but I'm just using it dry just to make sure it's nice and smooth. Now that's slightly smaller than the old. What I'm going to do now is heat the tang up with my blowtorch, and then slowly, when it's hot, push it through so it makes the same size as the actual tang. So what I've done off camera is mix some of that Gorilla Glue, which I find to be the best epoxy I've tried so far. It sets really hard, strong. And fairly quick. So you don't need a lot on there because obviously you saw it was a real tight fit. There we go. And that, as you hopefully you can see, is lined up beautifully. Well, as you can see, it's looking really nice. Everything's perfectly lined up, nice straight edges. Well, it's probably been about 13 or 14 hours now, and the Gorilla Glue's dried properly. And what I've done off camera is the guard here now, I've grinded it down on the fine sander, and it's now level with the handle. It looks a lot more smarter. And I've just got a piece of 240 grit wet and dry paper at the minute. I'm just going down and just making sure it is nicely level all the way around. Next thing I'm going to do after this is all level and it's all nicely flat, the handle, I'm going to drill a 7mm hole through it and put a piece of brass tubing through there with some Gorilla Glue on there, which will allow for a lanyard to be fitted. Okay, nice clean 7mm hole. Now I'm going to put the brass in. So this is the 7mm brass piping. You can see I'll go in there, I'll cut it off, glue it in, and then using the belt grinder level it all off there. Right, I'm going to stain the handle now, and I'm going to use this, which is dark oak. I've used it on a few knives what I've made recently, and it's really nice. I like a dark stain, so you can hopefully see it brings out the grain really nice as well. And this piece of wood has got a gorgeous bit of grain. I'm not sure if the camera's doing the grain any justice, but hopefully you can see it. It's beautiful. So the knife's nearly finished now, and what I have been doing is been putting some teak oil on the handle. Now it's stained, which protects it, obviously soaks into the wood and makes it sealed, and also makes it look a bit shiny, so you can see. So the only things I've got to do now is, once this is dry, buff up the well, give the blade a final final sharpen, and then a buffing, and then it's done. It's not turned out too bad, but we'll look at it finally in a little while when it's finished. Right, the oil's dry now, and I've given it a little bit of a buffing on the machine, you can see, and the handle's looking lovely with the grain. I've also given it a bit of a final sharpen, just to show you how sharp it is. That is sharp enough to shave you quite easily. You can see every cut is absolutely perfect. Off camera as well, I've made a little bit of a sheath to put it in. It's not perfect, and I'm only just learning how to do these. I'm still waiting for some tools to arrive actually for doing some leather work, but as you can see, as a rough bit of leather work, that's fine, and that'll sit on my belt. To be fair, for a hunting knife out in the field, that's fine anyway, but I'll probably get, as I get better, I'll get some more leather, thicker leather actually, and do a better job. But yeah, there we go. all done. So from me and Davey, I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been something different. Like I said, I'm still learning, so please don't be too rough on me. But I'm pretty pleased with the results there, and as you can see, it's sharp. It'll be tough, durable, and hold its edge, and that's all really I need in the field. So see you soon. If you like what you see, please give us a thumbs up. If you've not already subscribed, please subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.